October, August 16th, 2021 meeting of the Sykesville Historic District Commission. It's a special meeting to accommodate one of our applicants with a kind of a timeline issue. And we included the other applicants for the month of August. So this will be our official August meeting. I'll read an opening statement since we have a couple new people. Qualifications of the members of the commission, staff of the commission, and any consultants used or on file with the town are hereby made part of each and every application heard tonight. The guidelines and procedures adopted by the commission are also made part of each and every application. Each application heard tonight is considered on its own merits and is not to be considered as establishing a precedent for any other application. The Historic District Design Guidelines have been adopted by the town of Sykesville in accordance with Article 6B, 8.06A of the Maryland Code and follow the recommendations of the United States Secretary of the Interior. The Sykesville Historic District Commission follows Robert's Rules of Order, with the exception that the chairperson votes. Okay, so our first agenda item, the applicants aren't available as yet, so we will go to our second item, which is 2021-12. It's a roof replacement at 7331 Springfield Avenue in Sykesville. And the applicant is Eloise Stinchcomb. And it's a roof replacement of shingles. And I know she came in last meeting and kind of gave us a description. And so do you want to just go over what you're doing again and then we'll proceed? Oh, you're muted. There you go.
Our less formal meetings, we just, talk.
Right.
It's a full roof replacement, both on the 1886 original home and then on the 2000 edition, 1999, 2000 in-law edition. And we've gotten 2 bids and understand that the architectural style of shingle is the one to go with because of longevity, upping the replacement time to more like 30 to 50 years instead of 20. So we would like to be considered for that. We are open to color. It has the old green shingles. We don't know what it had on originally. But the recommendation from the second bidder that I got to talk with, who has worked in different historic districts, has recommended more of that medium gray tone. I found in my research that the old wood shingles that were often put on this style home tended to change to a gray tone. So who knows, might look more like it did back in 1886.
Okay, makes sense. Okay, the one thing, it did have an aluminum drip edge, which is, I know, necessary. Is that going to have a kind of a, we're worried about reflectivity.
Right.
Is that going to be matted somehow? I guess that's the word.
What is on there has been on there for 20 years. I think is a more matted color. Now my husband talked with the first bid, and I think they were, wanting to put the additional top on it, but perhaps not replace all of the aluminum guttering. So
Okay.
if there's any special kind, that's what is preferable.
No, not really. I mean, someone else may chip in on that, but I mainly were concerned that, if it's visible from the road, that it doesn't reflect the sun really glaringly, and, that type of thing. So if it's the same matte finish on it, I would say that'd be fine,
Okay.
Any other comments on that before we keep going? Everybody okay? All right. Sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, no,
you
I'm
didn't.
fine.
Okay.
No, I was just going to say, I think both bids, whichever one we choose, will be able to give us what we need.
Okay. I mean, we don't specify the color. We like to see it, at least kind of in sync with other roofs in the area. And for me, either the gray sounds kind of a good color, considering what else is in the neighborhood. Doesn't glare, doesn't stick out, that type of things.
Right.
And you're using the architectural shingles, which we would request. So
Okay.
that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Any other comments? Okay, no other questions. Are we ready to make a motion then? Okay, well, all right. Then I'll make a motion that we approve application 2021-12, a roof replacement at 7331 Springfield Avenue with a total would be shingles, replacement of shingles, which would be Certainty Landmark Architectural Shingles, and there will be an aluminum drip edge, which will have a matte finish to reduce reflectivity. And it is in compliance with page 25 roofs and the historic district guidelines.
So moved.
Okay, well, you're good to go.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Have a good evening.
You too.
I'm sorry, real quick, Norm, can we get an all in favor vote, please?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. All in
wondered
favor?
about
Maybe you're not good to go. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All
Okay.
right, so moved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Carrie. Okay. All right, we still don't have I wonder if they got the time mixed up because of the last meeting being at 7. But, all right, we'll go on to application number 3, which is 2021-13, a hanging sign at 7550 Main Street. It's a hanging business sign. And the applicant is Hannah Beresford. And we did supply some details about the size of the sign and that type of thing, although we did need the height from the sidewalk to the bottom of the sign yet, and I think you were supposed to have provided that, or will provide it. So if you want to just describe it again, that's
So the sign is going to be 24 inches by 24 inches, so it'll be square. I did have a question about the minimum requirement over the sidewalk. Carrie had informed me it was 8 feet. But when I was taking some measurements and walking up and down Main Street, some businesses, their buildings aren't as tall as others, so they were
right.
7 feet from the sidewalk, which I'm hoping to be able to do because my building's only 10 feet tall after their remodel. So my sign I'm obviously right next to Cowboys and Angels, so it wouldn't be any lower than 7 feet off of the sidewalk. So I just kind of wanted to get everybody's input on that because I really can't go any higher due to the height of the building.
Okay. Oh, this is the little building that Fred Gossett just remodeled.
Yep, the blue one.
Gotcha. Yeah, we do have some pre-approved signs that, signs that could not be raised any higher. And I believe that was one of them. Actually, that sign was there probably before the Historic District Commission was formed. So we'd have to reconsider that one, but personally, I think we're kind of stuck with that. Unless we get complaints down the road, I would say, the 7 feet would be at least as high as you can get, whatever height you can manage there.
Doesn't that building have a porch with a balcony railing above it now?
I thought it did.
So the balcony railing has posts on it. Why can't it be mounted to the post and then raised up higher? I know the roof line and the parapet is lower, but you do have a railing that is extending up higher, 36 or 42 inches above that.
I mean, I would, as long as like Fred would be okay with that, but I kind of personally like the look of all of the signs, like being the same height on Main, because like you have Norwood Ice Cream, Dandelion Bakery, and then you have Cowboys and Angels. Like my sign would be kind of lined up with them. I kind of thought that look would be better, but obviously, you know, it's ultimately up to you guys, and I would have to double check with Fred whether mounting it on the railing would be okay.
That would be an apartment, right? Apartment.
Yeah.
balcony railing.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I'm not sure if I would push that, but unless everyone else would like to see that.
Yeah, I think
Mm.
if the other signs are of a certain height and they're not compliant, but they're of a certain height, we might want to look at that. Because you'd have one that was a foot higher. The clearance was
Yeah.
a foot higher.
Yeah, I have this uniform in terms of the appearance on Main Street, and the other signs would look about the same height. And I,
What about B blends, which is on the other side of this building? What's the height
Yeah.
of B blends?
yeah, I don't remember. We just did that.
B Blends has, so they have a, I noticed they have a bracket that kind of adds a couple inches because their bracket is curved like this. It's like a half moon.
That's right.
But I believe their sign is higher, even like it's mounted higher than 10 feet from my memory when I was there the other night.
Another sidewalk barriers are on there, so.
Right. So, I mean, if it gradually goes up, even though Cowboys and Angels would be the closest sign to you, I believe.
Yes.
And they're lower because their roof line is lower, but B blends is higher. If we could kind of like have a graduating inclination between your sign, like have you in the middle of those two, I think that might be aesthetically more pleasing than just to jump up. Because is there a sign currently right now?
No, just because the
Yeah.
whole facade was redone.
Exactly. So, I mean, if you're kind of in the middle of the two, and I know that your sign has more of a curvature at the top, maybe you can get that other type of bracket instead of the straight bracket like B Blends does, and that might give you a little bit more height. It might not give you the 8 feet, but it'll give you it between the 7 and the 8. And there would be like a gradual line between as the sidewalk goes up. That's my opinion.
I'm looking at the street view of B Blend sign. It's really, I mean, I don't know if you can see any of that. Let me remove my background real quick.
Anna, I have B Blends as being at 84 inches in clearance.
Okay. Okay.
That's 7 feet.
That is 7 feet. Okay.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, but they do have that nice curved bracket, which I would definitely be open to getting to maybe, get as much clearance as possible from the sidewalk. And I believe on my application, I had put that it would be over the door, which I would actually prefer it to be, but Fred is installing a light due to the new standards, like you have to have an emergency exit light that is constantly illuminated in times of power loss. So I was going to move it down to the left of my window, which is actually the highest point off of the sidewalk anyway, because the sidewalk slopes down. So that, in my opinion, I thought that would be the best spot anyway, because I can get the most clearance.
Okay. Well, Chad, you still have,
I think we should just, if we have a
That's a good
guideline for a
suggestion.
certain height, we should stick to it. And if we vary too much, then we're gonna have to revise the guidelines to. So I'm fine with Hannah, what she was saying about she wanted to, maintain the height of the other areas, but I think the ruling should be on this one is to maintain as much height as possible for this building type, given.
right,
So as high as we can get it, right, closest to the guidelines, let's try to achieve that.
All right. That's kind of why I was thinking of phrasing that motion, so.
So I'll make a motion. All right, so.
All right, good.
I motion to approve the sign. I motion that under the stipulation that the sign be placed at the highest actual height that it can achieve, either through a bracket or through modification of the sign.
And I
It
could
says close.
definitely, sorry, I
Okay.
could go back to Shannon Baum and see, you know, how they could change the layout of my sign. You know, maybe right now it's a square, and if it works with my logo, that I can, you know, shrink it a little bit. I can work with them too to make it as small as possible without looking kind of funny, because my logo is kind of oddly shaped. And I did have another question for everybody. When I go to mount the sign, isn't there another fee that I have to pay?
Yes, so once the historic district approves it, then you have to just get a zoning waiver, which I believe is $10, but I don't know that for sure. I don't handle the zoning waivers.
Okay.
But I'll email you that with the approval letter.
Sure, okay.
Okay, I just wanted to amend the motion slightly, just that we referenced application 2021-13, and that it's in conformance with, well, actually it isn't in conformance, but we're modifying the guidelines on page 37, hanging signs to meet the conditions found on Main Street at that point. I don't know. That sound okay?
I'm fine.
Alrighty.
Does that give you enough explanation when you write the approval letter? Okay. And so moved.
Okay. All in favor then?
Aye.
Thanks. I guess if there are some changes to that sign, I guess you should probably just submit the changes to us so we have it on record.
Sure.
And that will have it. So, because, you know, somewhere down the road, another owner some year is going to have the same issues, I imagine. So, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you and best wishes.
Yeah, thank you, everybody.
Okay. All right. Our last item was replacement shingles for the Warfield townhomes. And I guess Lenore said since I'm not here, what I understand is that the manufacturer of the shingles that they originally were purchasing has gone out of business or is no longer making that color or type of shingle, whichever, but they're not available anymore. I lost my, I did have a sheet actually with a picture of it, but yeah.
Can I clarify, is it ABC that no longer carries it, or does the manufacturer no longer make it? Because I went on their website today and they have that available at Home Depot under the
Really?
contractor's version.
Hmm.
And I don't know if Lennar just doesn't deal with Home Depot and they only deal with ABC roofing.
Huh. I know I've got the approval here. It was a nickel gray GAF 3-tab Royal Sovereign architectural shingle, or it could be charcoal, either way, but.
But it says that ABC no longer carries it. So they can they might no longer carry that brand, but there's other places that carry that brand. I need a little bit more clarification.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, okay. Thanks for looking that up. I had taken their word at face value there, but okay. We'll have to get back to them and Carrie to find out, what the deal is
Definitely.
with the suppliers.
Yeah, everything in the staff report was exactly what they had sent me. So I don't know, unfortunately, I don't know the answer to it. And I also
Yeah.
didn't hear that they would not be on the meeting tonight. So I will follow up with them.
All right. Okay, so that's, I guess that decision will be tabled until we get more information from them. Yeah, we're back to the awning at 17302 Conway. I know we got more submissions. I don't know if you want to have a general discussion now just to see where if we're all on the same page or not before, but I don't feel that I can. I'm not sure that we can approve it without their input. I don't. Oops, you're muted, Jeannie.
Sorry about that. My phone rang. We had talked last time about the fact that it's a one-off, so probably having some general policy on these things so that we don't have to come back to the table for each person that comes from that development.
Right.
To say,
exactly.
here's the size, here's the colors, here's the materials. Could we do something like that?
Well, there's some concerns, right? So this isn't a permanent structure. This is in some terms a temporary structure. So just think like if somebody sells the house and moves and they don't maintain, they either, let's say we make a stipulation that, the resident said that they only have it open certain hours of the day. What if a new resident moves in and they don't maintain it? And so there's lots of issues regarding that kind of temporary structure or device. And that's what my concern is not a fixed element. It's something that could be taken down. It could fall down, literally, gust could come up and tear it off or something in that nature. So I'm concerned about durability. I'm concerned about upkeep, transient nature of people moving in and out of units.
Well, so I don't know. I mean, a lot of those concerns are valid, but I mean, they may fall under an HOA type, regulation or our own town, town codes type surveillance.
So let's say we do, hypothetically we approved it, Norm. What size would we approve? What height would we approve?
Yeah,
What width would we approve? That's the hard things.
it is.
Well, that's what I was saying, that we probably should discuss those things. Certainly, we don't want everyone to have one that covers side to side, because you'd have,
Yeah, they've said that it was side to side.
multiple ones across the different.
You're
Well,
breaking
no, but
up
it
there.
doesn't cover the whole deck. Oh, sorry.
Yep.
I said it doesn't cover the whole deck.
Yeah, they said it was, what, 12
10
feet
feet.
wide, overhangs each side by 18. I wasn't sure what they meant by each side. I thought it was the kitchen windows, but I wasn't quite sure. The deck's longer than 12 feet, I believe, so maybe that is what they mean.
So let's say we did approve this one and the next tenant down decided to put one up. Would they have to come back to us to approve the location and the height and the mounting? Or is it a holistic approach that, yes, we'll approve an 18-foot, whatever wide, a 12-foot wide canopy at this elevation? Because I'm concerned that somebody would come, the next person down would say, okay, we're gonna install one and we're gonna put it at 7 feet instead of 9 feet. And the next person's gonna put it at 10 feet and it'll be 10-foot wide.
Yeah, no, I think they, I mean, it's, each one is going to be an individual case, but we may have a blanket type policy that we've established here, in terms of uniformity, and each one can be approved based on conformance with the original. We could stipulate that perhaps, but.
Well, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, you're right. We don't want one, different heights and different wild colors or things like that. And I don't know if we want to approve one color all the way along the side, all the way down, or that type of thing, or at least within bounds, so they're not polka dot or whatever.
Do you want to say that it can't be mounted more than or it has to be mounted X feet or X inches above the window, and it can't extend more than 18 inches on either side, and the applicant needs to come forth with the color choice. Is that a little bit more universal, a little bit more uniform?
Yeah, that's sort of, I think, where we're going with it. It actually, they said they were going to lower it slightly, so it would be below that exhaust vent. But do we have the exact height above the deck, Carrie? Is that maybe in the original application? I know they said they're going to lower it, I think, what was it, 9 inches or so, I forget how much. I don't have it in front of me.
You're muted, Gary.
It does not appear to have an actual height listed either on the original or on the one that they gave us.
So we would need a height, we would need a width, or the size of the canvas, and we would need to specify solid colors, something like that.
Yeah. And I think we do have the other dimensions. It was a 12 by 10 awning, 12 feet wide, and I think it sticks out 10 feet. And it was their color choice was charcoal, which I think was probably a good choice in terms of blending in and not being ostentatious type thing, reflecting the historic buildings across the way. But yeah, they just said they're going to lower it a little bit so they wouldn't have that interference with the kitchen exhaust. So I guess everyone's saying
So
maybe
I
we could
would-
go ahead.
I was just saying, maybe we could say that no wider than 12 feet. And do we want them mounted on over the kitchen window, or does it matter to us where it's mounted? Because someone might want it mounted over the door. I don't remember why they said they couldn't mount it over the door. Anybody remember why?
I think that they said that they sit in front of the kitchen window. That's where their picnic table is, or whatever table. So that's where they wanted the shade.
Yeah, it makes more sense, at least in how they're using it, but some,
Is there any issues with adjacency of units with maybe a potential resident next door that necessarily doesn't want shade in a certain area, and the canopy sticking out 10 feet might intrude on their sort of, I'm just thinking on all aspects, right? So maybe you want full sun on your deck, but then you're getting casted by a canopy that's next door. Just, it could happen. I know it probably won't, but
yeah, if they're growing tomatoes or something there.
yeah, something.
Mhm.
Although, like you say, it's there. Most people would, not designed to be left open 24/7, but that could happen. I could see that some issues could arise.
I guess that's part of living in a community that is
Yeah.
so close to each other.
Yeah, so I was thinking it's townhouse living, I guess.
I'm not sure it would shade
I-
much of the other person's.
You know, they make the cantilever deck umbrellas. That's why I brought it up last time, a freestanding umbrella in lieu of something connected to the building. Something
Yeah.
a little bit less structured to the building would be my sort of solution to that, in lieu of having something that's so connected.
Yeah, well, on the other hand, you've got that,
Yeah.
I guess they have the option of using those umbrellas all up and down there. Although I find that less appealing than a retractable awning that would be, hidden most of the time. But in terms, at least, where it is, the location and opposite the building, historic buildings, I don't know. I guess.
I'm a little apprehensive because we're very specific about the rows of houses that are facing the historic buildings and that they can't be siding, they have to be brick, and the color choices. And for this specific house, I understand the concerns of the homeowners and wanting shade, but I also think what Jeannie said last time, it's going to set a precedence, especially with the homes that we were so concerned about with aesthetics next to the historic buildings.
Yeah, we did already reject a bump out or a dormer or some type of structure. I remember they wanted to put on a roof. I mean, this is a little less intrusive, but it was the same type of issues, I guess.
I'm wondering about what they will decide to put on if people do not have this option. Like you're talking about the big umbrellas, or they might put a canopy out there. So I guess we have to think about how that's going to look if everybody has a different, option on their deck.
Yeah, kind of look like a beach.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we don't really have control over that, really.
No, we don't. We really don't.
Everybody can have a different grill on their deck. Everybody can have different lawn furniture. It's just, we can't be that decisive on our decision making.
No, right.
People put on their deck. So my concern is that it's a permanent fixture to the house, and that it's something permanent in nature. And then if they sell the house, the next person has it, and the person after that has it, and then the variance in the exterior elevations, and like Anna was saying, it's a prominent elevation to the historic district. I mean, to the, existing Warfield.
To the facade, yeah. Yeah, well. Yeah, we didn't get a drawing of how it would look on the facade, or did we? That's what I think we I thought we asked for that, actually.
Yeah, we asked for that. We also asked for a cut and section of what it actually profile would be on it.
Right.
Yeah.
So maybe we should, I mean, before we ask him for that, are we going to agree to the concept at least, or that's?
Well, that's a good point. If we're not going to decide to allow, if we decide not to allow the awnings, then there's no sense in getting the other materials from them.
Right. Yeah, I don't want to ask him to do all this other stuff. Say, no, we just don't even like the idea. I mean, I would like to see the drawing. I think, the conceptual drawing, like Chad said, the how much it sticks out from the side profile and from the front, what it would look like exactly. They still just have the arrows and it's just the dimensions scrolled in, from what I remember. I had pictures of what it actually looks like, but how it would look like on that facade, we don't know.
I think last time we requested additional information. We haven't received the additional information. So I don't make a ruling at this time unless we want to say the concept does not make sense for the development.
I mean, I would think, based on what the facade looks like, I would, we could still approve it. If it looks like it's a low impact, if it's just a small line across the siding, that's probably not going to be much of an impact in terms of what that facade looks like. So I think we need to see it. Does that sound,
Yeah, I mean, it sounds fair to me. So we requested information. We haven't received the information. So let's hold off into decision until we receive the information and can make a decisive decision if it makes sense. And then I think the last time they showed it, they said it was 12 feet wide. Well, the windows are only like 6 foot wide. So I don't understand the additional width required.
yeah, it's probably a factory preset, but they did say it overhang each side by 18 inches. And I thought they meant the side of the windows, but if the windows are only 8 feet, it must be the entire balcony. I don't know. And that would protrude into the neighbors. So we've got to get that clarified too.
Sounds like a
sorry.
plan.
Sorry, Jeannie, go ahead.
I was just saying, it sounds like a good plan to put it off till we have more information.
Gotcha. Could
Yeah.
I just clarify what you mean by you need the side profile, just so I make sure I'm asking exactly
So the
exact question for what
section,
it
the manufacturer section of what it looks like in profile.
is.
So
Gotcha.
it will tell you the extension of the face of the building, how tall it is, how deep it is.
Yeah, that's an end unit too, I believe. So
No, it's in group. It's in group. It's not end.
Oh, it's in the group?
Mhm. It's
Okay.
one of the gray sided. It's not the brick.
Oh, okay. That's right. Thanks.
And Carrie, we still need the elevation showing the extent of the window, how much it overhangs, and the mounting height.
An actual drawing, not just arrows. Yeah. So it
Yeah.
shows the how it would look on that siding and facade.
Gotcha.
I mean, if there's a continuous line all the way across of these, if everybody's, oh, this is a great idea, and they'll put one in, it might not look so bad if it's low impact and not very wide, like a couple inches, it'll just be well, the color might differ. But yeah. Okay. Any other information or comments or questions we didn't answer? Okay, and I guess we'll table this until we get the additional information and we'll address it at the end of September, assuming they provide this. So that, I guess that concludes the agenda. Is there any other?
I have
Comments?
one quick thing for you, Norm. St. Joseph's Church is looking to replace their freestanding sign. And historically, and actually it's not in the guidelines either for freestanding signs. Historically, they've come to you all for informational purposes. What would you like that to happen at an actual meeting? Would you like me to just share the info that he has provided to me? How would you like that to go down?
I think we need to address it at an actual meeting, but
Actual
it'd be
meeting,
nice
okay.
to share the information beforehand so we can
Sure,
look it
yeah,
up
of course.
and compare it to our, I know we have that, some sign ordinances in the town and that type of thing, so see what they say.
Yep. I just knew freestanding wasn't in our guidelines, and he sent this
Yeah.
to me on Friday.
We
So
don't have anything on monument signage.
you do in Warfield, not in the downtown historic district.
Yeah, all through this overhanging, yeah, the town ordinances, overhanging signs, general signs.
Norm, I know that with Sykesville Station, they came to us when they changed it from Baldwin Station just for
Right, they
informational
did.
purposes.
That was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carrie, I would agree with Norm to present the informal meeting just for informational purposes. That way, if we see something egregious, we can make some comments.
Sounds good. I will ask him to show up, well, virtually show up at the next meeting.
Thank you.
Are they in a hurry to do this? By the way, I don't want to do another special meeting for it, but what is the, they have a timeline or they just,
They just said they're in the process of it. I think they were still talking with Shannon Baum
Yeah,
to finalize how it's gonna look. So that he didn't give me a time frame or anything.
all right. Yeah, I know the Methodist church down the other end of the street has freestanding signs, I believe, and I thought we did have, well, yeah, they had that little plaque they put up for the monument they put in there, but that was freestanding, I guess. All right. Anything on the training or whatever, or
Yes, so Joe has talked with the Maryland Association of Historic District Commissions, and
Yeah.
he is waiting to get some dates from them that work for the training. So he is working on it.
okay. All right.
Will we join with other Historic District Commission members for the training, or will we be doing it on our own? Like to
So if
share
I
the
remember-
price?
If I remember correctly, it was one price for 15 people joining it. So it'll just depend on how many people that we have that are interested in taking it, and if there are other commissions in the area that are interested as well.
Okay,
Yeah, I guess if you could join up with another historic district commission, we could cut the price in half for the town, but
right.
Yeah.
Charge them more.
yeah, exactly. Depending how many members they have. If they have more members, yeah.
Well, this is live on Facebook now, so there you go, Jeannie.
Okay. All right. Anything else? All right. Well, I'll move that we adjourn. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Bye.
Aye. Okay, everybody's
everybody.
enthusiastic.
Good night.
Everybody.
All right, good night. Thanks again for coming.